Hello, and I hope you're doing well. On this video we're gonna change the battery in a 2016 Lexus RX 350, and this video might help for other Lexus and Toyotas. And I am using my headlight from Husky, and I also have the other light right here from Husky. Let me turn this on so you can see better. So first, I got the correct battery. This is a size 24F, and all you have to do is make sure that you look up the right part, and the only tools that we'll need is a 10mm socket. Both you can get a small one as well as a long one. The long one you'll use for this right here, and make sure that this cover is on while you're doing this, because you don't want to touch anything while you have the positive to the battery, because you'll get a spark. I got the smaller extension, so now I can loosen the nut that's back here. So now that this is loose, we could also make this screw right here loose. This is holding this side, so this bracket goes up here and ends up here. So if you take this one off, the whole thing will be loose enough to take off the battery. So now I've taken this one off, and perhaps you want to take this one off first and then loosen the other side. Whichever way you want to do it, that's fine. So now I can move this bracket around. Now it's loose. So now let's go into this side, and here I'm gonna use my headlamp. Here I can show you that this has a hook down there. So all you have to do is unhook this from down there, and then now you can pull it. So it's not necessary for you to take this all the way off. All you need to do is basically just leave it a little bit loose so you can unhook this from down there. So now that this is loose, so now we can take this whole bracket off. The bracket is held from down here, and it goes all the way up here, and this is what's down here held by this screw. So that's just so you know exactly how it works. You don't need to take then this entire plastic off. And now you can take off one side then the other by using either the same one without the extension, and just make sure that you don't touch the positive with the negative. That's basically all you have to make sure of. Since the cover's on here, I'm not gonna touch anything down there anyway, so all you have to do is make sure that it's a little bit loose. It moves around a little bit freely. So now I can pull it out and put this to the side. And then now I can take off this cover or pull it out. And now I can loosen this one. And making sure that you don't touch these or this to anywhere that has some metal. Once that's loose, then you can also go back and forth, pull it out, and that's it. Put this to the side, and then it has a handle somewhere. Let me see, maybe this one doesn't, I'm not sure. I know the new one does. If it doesn't have a handle, then go ahead and pull it out. It has a little bit of an edge on both sides, so I'm gonna have to put the camera down and pull this whole thing out. And here is the old battery. It doesn't have a handle, but it does have a little bit of an edge here, so I can grab it from here and pull it out. And there's a couple of reasons why I took this one off. One of them because it's getting cold outside, and this morning and this afternoon, since it's around 30 degrees outside, I heard the battery kind of taking its time to start the car. Now the car started, it's just I don't want my car to die when it's below zero and I have a dead battery. And this battery, it's about 6 or 7 years old, maybe older, I don't remember, but it's older. Another reason why I'm changing this battery is because this one has 500 cc's and it has a reserve of 80 minutes. And let me show you the one I'm changing it for. And I'm changing it for this one because this one has 750 cca and this one has 120 minutes. So this will start the car even at a lower temperature. So let's put this battery in here, and this right here, it's a cover that you can perhaps put it around your battery if you want to. Before you put the new battery in here, you can clean both of these, and you can either use baking soda with water, maybe Coca-Cola, maybe WD-40. With any of those solutions, use perhaps an old toothbrush and scrub inside out and all around it. Another way is to use a wired brush that they specifically make for these. But since I don't use them often, then I can just use any of the solutions and make sure that this is nice and clean. So brush around it, then rinse it with a little bit of water, and then dry it well. And if you want to clean them somewhere else, you could always unscrew this part right here, and this part comes off. And this is what they look like if you take them off. This is the negative and that's the positive. Just the way you took them off, put them back. And we're gonna go ahead and clean them inside and come back. And now I cleaned them both. They don't need to look brand new. The main two things that need to be cleaned is this part right here where the connection is made to this part, and the other part is inside here, right in here, where it makes the connection to the post. So all around it doesn't have to be super clean. It's just those two parts. So just keep that in mind. They don't need to be super clean. And just to let you know, this is size 11. Now let's put the battery in here on this space. I had to use both hands to put it in there, but now it's in there and it has the insulation around it. Just go ahead and make sure that they're clean. The better connection, the better the battery will work. And make sure that you keep your terminals clean. And every now and then just check to see if there's any corrosion or anything that looks funny around the terminals. Because if you do, this is probably not tight enough to here, or something might be loose. Begin by putting the negative side first. So put this one here and then tighten this as well as this. If you took this off, make sure that it's tight enough that this does not move around at all. Now that this is tight, this one's tight as well. Now we can go ahead and go on to the other side, and I gotta put this back together. Once we put this together, this goes down here like that, and then the nut goes up here. Once this is put together, then go ahead and take this cap off. And the first time you put this positive on, you might make a little spark, but don't worry, it doesn't do anything. Now that the cap is off, then we can put this back here. Just go ahead and put it all the way in first. And it makes a little spark, but it's not gonna do anything as long as you don't touch this to the other side or this to a metal. Then there's not much to worry about. So now that we have this side, make sure that these two are tight. So now that everything's tight, this one, that one, and the other two on the other side, now we can go ahead and put this cover on. And that's how it goes. And now we can go ahead and begin to put the bracket back. And then it goes in the way we took it out. So first we want to put this side under here. Okay, so now we got the bracket here. We got it through the bottom of this plastic. And now we're going to make sure that it goes through here. Right there. The battery, I need to move it a little bit further because it didn't sit well there. So now we can hook the bottom and I can see the little hole right there. So now it's hooked. Now that it's hooked, you can go ahead and come up here and screw this on. And now that you got this through, go ahead and put this screw on there. If you want to take this off, you can probably do that. It might make it easier, but I could do it by hand, and then once it's in there, then you can go ahead and use a tool. And now that this is tight, that's tight, make sure that you try to move the battery and it doesn't move from its place. Once you've done with that, then you should be fine. Now you can start the car, charge the battery by driving around, and return the old battery. I hope this video helps in any way. Thank you for watching and enjoy.